Someone's dropped a bomb somewhere, contaminating atmosphere and blackening the sky. It's Good News Week. Someone's found a way to give the rotting dead a will to live, go on and never die. Have you heard the news? What did it say? Who's won that race? What's the weather like today? It's Good News Week. Lots of blood in Asia now. They butchered up the sacred cow. They've got a lot to eat. It's Good News Week. Doctors finding many ways of wrapping brains in metal trays to keep us from the heat.
The mark is coming up. The mark of the beast. We're talking about how the Catholics gave the book of Mark out of the Bible a nice little number to it, 666. Now they always, it's, you know, the pentagram, it's, you know, triangle, it's like two triangles laid on top of each other. It's two triangles with 60 degrees at each angle, 60, 60, 60. Interlace two of them. You got that little, it's all Saturnalian in origin. The technocrats are here to stay. They're not going to go anywhere. They're not going to go anywhere. They started this, like, you know where IBM started was with the Holocaust and making those little numbers, tattoos, and cataloging. You know, their goal back then was to catalog every person and give them a number. Every single person. What they were doing, were they not? That's where IBM started. Square off the man. That's the Saturnalian way. You gotta square off the man. The Rolling Stone is the original man. You gotta square it off. Oh, Jesus Christ is the only way to heaven. His free gift to salvation. So glad I've been sponsored, you know. It's good. It's good to have support. You know, IBM, you've seen the 2001 Space Odyssey. IBM, I is the I-beam. I-beam, like the all-seeing eye, the Eye of Cyrus. The IBM, and then you got 2001 Space Odyssey, which was the big red eye in the spaceship. And he's kind of like in control of everything. Sorry, Dave. I'm sorry I can't do that. I-H-I. Hal, IBM. B-A-A-B. Hal, IBM. L-M, IBM. IBM. H-I-A-B-L-M. Oh, it's just the next letter after. The all-seeing eye of IBM. The I-beam of computer technologies. And they want to give you a number so you may not buy or sell. That's what it comes down to. The all-seeing eye. Santa Claus. He's everywhere. He sees you when you're sleeping. You know, it's getting pretty scary out here on Microsoft Hill. And I think people are starting to wake up because of the whole COVID thing. They're like, wow, look at all this abuse of power. And, you know, tyranny has a left boot and a right boot. They're both tyranny. Now, one might not squash you as much as the other, or you might like one boot. Both of those boots will squash you. Maybe that's why exactly in the middle of the Bible. Well, interestingly enough, the middle of the Bible, which is Psalm 119, can't remember the verse, but right smack dab in the middle, the chapter before it is the shortest verse in the Bible. The chapter after it is the longest verse in the Bible. And then you have the middle verse of the Bible, which is in the chapter between the shortest and longest verse of the entire Bible. And that middle verse says it is better to trust in God than to trust in politicians. And it is. That's why God said fear not 365 times in the Bible, because you should fear not every single day about these pieces of garbage who want to give you a number. They want to give you the fun vax. They want to give you the fundamental extremist vaccine. They were only talking about it in 2005. Here we are 15 years later. Do you think they won't? They just now come out saying they've been seeding the skies. You think they haven't been for a while? Now, none of this is really foreign to us anymore, and they came out and said UFOs are real, and no one batted an eye, to be honest. But we already knew that. We already knew the government was lying. Why do they call it the government? Well, what do you think the ment is for? Mental? Like your mind, mental? And then to govern is to control. So I'm assuming that government is just to control your mind. I mean, it's right there in the word. You got your mental mind, and to govern your mind, the government wants you. Uncle Sam wants you. Kim Jong-un wants to put a chip in you. They all want to put a chip in you. Now, I don't know about Trump because he'd been a little bit different. And some of these other powers out there are a little bit different. You can tell because the media hates them. You can tell they're not getting paid off and they're not part of this cabal. They're definitely close to the cabal, though. I don't know if that's a good thing. I would consider that a bad thing. Try to stay away.
Just be a second. That's a clean burning hell, I tell you what.
Yeah, I started listening to Alex Jones when Alex Jones first started out. It was like right after the Waco thing and before the whole freaking Bohemian Grove thing. I don't know if you know about the Bohemian Grove and where Alex Jones got his start, but it was some satanic ritual thing where all these bigwigs, like high priest of the political world, would go and make, well, apparently mock sacrificial, I don't know, they would have effigies and burn them and like pretend to kill people, or they really did, I don't know, watch the video. But Alex Jones, you know, he might be a crazy motherfucker, but I mean, he was right about a lot of this stuff, and he's very theatrical. And I saw him in a movie. It was a movie about dreams, called Waking Life, I think is what it was called. And I watched the movie because I was during a time when I was trying to have lucid dreams, which is where you control your mind. You condition your mind before bed in a way where you can control your dream, and you can do it, but I stopped doing it because it would always end horrifically in sleep paralysis, and nobody wants that. So I had some really cool dreams, but I mean, they'd always end with me like suffocating and not being able to wake up, like in between the whole realm of sleeping and being awake. But I found frequencies to help a lot. Different sounds and stuff like that were very helpful, but it was more just conditioning. Anyway, I don't recommend it, and unless you really study it, because those lucid dreams, that sleep paralysis will kill you. It'll kill you. Well, why do you think they shut Alex Jones down? He's telling a little bit of too much of the truth, I believe. And they just kept doing more and more. Alex Jones was like the apathy toe dip that I call, like an empathy toe dip. Like, see how people feel about it. maybe it's they're full of apathy, but maybe it's just like we'll see what they feel about it. Because I don't have feelings, so we'll gauge everybody else's feelings about banning people from speaking in America. Oh, jeez. Well, hey, here it is.
Taxes. Don't talk about politics or religion. This is all the equivalent of enemy propaganda rolling across the picket line. Lay down, GI.
This was the
lay
clip
down,
that I
GI.
saw of Alex
We saw
Jones.
all through the 20th century. And now in the 21st century, it's time to stand up and realize that we should not allow ourselves to be crammed into this rat maze. We should not submit to dehumanization. I don't know about you, but I'm concerned with what's happening in this world. I'm concerned with the structure. I'm concerned with the systems of control. Those that control my life and those that seek to control it even more. I want freedom. That's what I want. And that's what you should want. It's up to each and every one of us to turn loose just some of the greed, the hatred, the envy, and yes, the insecurities. Because that is the central mode of control. Make us feel pathetic, small, so we'll willingly give up our sovereignty, our liberty, our destiny. We have got to realize that we're being conditioned on a mass scale.
Yeah.
Start challenging this corporate slave state. The 21st century is going to be a new century. Not the century of slavery, not the century of lies and issues of no significance, and classism, and statism, and all the rest of the modes of control. It's going to be the age of humankind standing up for something pure.
It's all conditioning, dude. I mean, the dude's right. We've always been conditioned. They always go above where we're at and put a cell phone in Star Trek before even freaking landlines were just starting out, or what? Not when they're starting out, but just like they would put a cell phone in Star Trek just in case that cell phones came true, to make sure that like you would be okay with it. Crap like that. Hollywood was set up to be the cultural hub of the world. That's why when you see like kids in Africa, like poor kids in Africa, they're wearing like a Madonna t-shirt, or you know, they have like Adidas t-shirts on, or they have like some sort of name brand shirt. I mean, it's the cultural hub of the world. You can go to Russia and they'll know our songs. Do you know any Russian songs? You know, here in America, like how many Russian songs do you know? Go to Russia, I'm sure they can sing some Britney Spears or something to you. You know, like hub of the world. We have Disney. Hey, can we talk about why Disney, you know, cruise ships were stopping off at Epstein's Island? Can we talk about that? Why was Disney's cruise ship stopping off at Pedophile Island? Whatever. Anyway, Hollywood, Hollyweird, the holly, the tree of holly, the holly. You know the holly tree? The tree that magicians make their wands out of? The wood of the holly tree? That is the standard tree they use to cast their spell on you. So, it's in the name. Alan Watts, not Alex Jones, but Alan Watts, I mean, he took, you know, Eastern culture and brought it to the West and all that, but I mean, he was put in these things. I mean, he was more anti-culture than anything, but he would be put in these big think tanks about how to control the culture and the way it's going and where they want to lead it and all this stuff, dude. Like, these people you see on TV that are super famous were put there. Illuminati. Was it John Todd? Look up John Todd. And the reason music is so important, I'm not going to get into this a lot because I could talk about it forever, but it's the frequency. The frequency. Like I was saying, everything is a frequency. I convert all my music into 432 frequency. Actually, on my phone, I have a little app that converts everything. I mean, it slows it down a little bit, but it converts it to that, and that's what I listen to music on. If I listen to it, I rarely do. Usually it's on YouTube. Can't convert it there. But I listen to instrumental stuff that's like self-produced. So, it's whatever. But if I'm going to listen to something that's a mass-produced record, I would definitely play it at 432 hertz or 528 or one of those chakra frequencies. And I'll talk more about that because one day I'm going to tell you how to make my Bruce Lee water. And you're going to love it. It is the best water that you ever had in your entire life. You've never drank from water that hasn't been through the kidney of a Chinaman. You never have. Water holds memories, things like that. And the frequencies, it's a thing, dude. It works, man. It works. So Alex Jones there, he's a great guy. Misunderstood, gentle giant. Now he's kind of crazy. I really think he's like well, he's kind of like me. It's like low IQ but knows a lot. I spent a lot of time just being a doomer. Like, I mean, I bought this microphone 15 years ago and I thought I was going to start a podcast. This 10 years later, not much has changed really. But I mean, I just watched documentaries and crap like that. Like, I spent years just sitting around watching documentaries. With no friends or like outside contact or anything. Kind of like how it is right now. I've been kicked back down into my doomer phase due to COVID 1984. I mean the Toyota Corolla, the Sharonosiris. I got the Sharonosiris blues, baby. Oh yeah.